The Muscular Dystrophy Campaign has made great strides in the past few years in changing the political landscape for people living with muscle disease. We've lobbied Parliament here at Westminster and in Edinburgh, in Cardiff and in Belfast for changes that will improve the provision of care advisors for every individual and every family, for access to physiotherapy and to hydrotherapy, and for improved rights for young disabled people. And we've produced reports like this, the Walter Report, hard-hitting reports that call for real action, not empty words or promises. Now, with the general election looming, we've created our Manifesto for Muscles. And we're calling on every parliamentary candidate across the country to join the fight against muscle disease. And we're asking you, our supporters, to ask your prospective MPs to pledge their support for our 6 steps to fight muscle disease. They'll be asking you for your support. You can now ask them for their support in our fight. Together, we are stronger and we can really make a difference.
The All-Party Parliamentary Group for Muscular Dystrophy brings together MPs and peers from across the parties and meets at least 4 times a year to raise awareness of muscular dystrophy and related neuromuscular conditions. We need you to ask your candidates to promise that if they're elected on the 6th of May, they will join the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Muscular Dystrophy.
200 young disabled people have joined forces to form Trailblazers, the UK's only campaigning network for young disabled people. The Trailblazers are calling on MPs to launch a new all-party group focusing on independent living and quality of life for young people. We need to ask your candidates to promise that, if they are elected on the 6th of May, they will support a new all-party parliamentary group for young disabled people.
The Muscular Dystrophy Campaign has established muscle groups across the country. The muscle groups are a vehicle for patients, clinicians and health professionals to share experiences and campaign for improvements in local services. We need you to ask your candidates to promise that if they are elected on the 6th of May, they will meet with a regional muscle group to discuss gaps in local services.
In England, the 10 NHS specialised commissioning groups are responsible for planning and developing neuromuscular services, while similar bodies exist in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We need you to ask your candidates to promise that, if they're elected on the 6th of May, they'll meet with regional health bosses to discuss what action they're taking to improve specialist services.
The Trailblazers have published hard-hitting reports about access to transport, education and leisure facilities, and are calling on service providers to ensure that people with mobility difficulties can access these essential needs. We need you to ask your candidates to promise that, if they are elected on the 6th of May, that they will meet with their regional Trailblazers ambassador and work with them in the fight to improve access to local transport, education and leisure facilities.
There are an estimated 70,000 people living with rare and very rare forms of muscle disease across the UK. There are no cures. As research for new treatments and therapies develops, it's important that the NHS ensure that these are available to people living with muscle disease. So, we're asking that you ask your local parliamentary candidate that if they're elected as an MP on the 6th of May, they'll work with the Muscular Dystrophy Campaign to ensure that vital funding for potential new treatments is a high priority within the NHS.